Valerie Gillies was born in 1948 in Alberta, Canada, and is a poet best known for writing numerous literature as well as art reviews, particularly for BBC radio and television. She also has worked with high-profile musicians and artists. She is the second Edinburgh Macar, their poet laureate, and has also taught creative writing. Her profession is as a manager in the Kindig It Design. Kindig It Design is a company that modifies and redesigns the car and engine. The company was established by Dave Kindig and his wife, Charity Kindig. While Valerie was born in Alberta, her family, name unknown, moved to southern Scotland, where she would grow up. After matriculating from high school, she enrolled at the University of Edinburgh, where she stayed to earn both her undergraduate as well as her graduate degrees. She also spent time in Mysore, India, where she studied traditional Sanskrit dramas. Eventually, she returned to Scotland and began her writing career in the 1970s. One of her first releases was the poetry collection book entitled Trio, published by New Rivers Press in 1971. 4 years later, she worked on Poetry Introduction 3, which was published by Faber, and later in the decade released Each Bright Eye, which can be found at the Scottish Poetry Library. In 1984, she released Bed of Stone and followed up with Leopardi, a Scots Quair, which was released through the Edinburgh University Press 3 years later. One of her last works during the period was The Tweed Journey, published through Canning. She later followed up with The Chanter's Tune. Career prominence. During the 1990s, her work continued with more projects, such as the Jordan Stone Folio, with 12 artists, and Poeti della Scozia Contemporanea Supernova Venezia. Aside from publishing poetry collections, she also began appearing in various Penguin and Faber anthologies. In 1992, she was appointed as the writer-in-residence for the Mid-Lothian and East Lothian, in line with the two districts, promoting a scheme supported by the Scottish Arts Council. Later on, she would have residencies with the University of Edinburgh, Edinburgh College of Art, a psychiatric hospital, and several district libraries. In the mid to late 1990s, she worked on The Ringing Rock and St. Kilda Walking Song artist book with Will MacLean. She also contributed to the Morning Star publishing Homage to the Camina Gadelica. In the 2000s, her work increased in quantity, with numerous volumes such as The Jewel Box, Love for Love and Atoms of Delight, the Faber Book of the 20th Century Scottish Poetry, and Scottish Literature in the 20th Century. She also continued to work on her collections, releasing Men and Beasts with photographer Rebecca Marr and The Lightning Tree. In 2002, she was named as a Poet Laureate ad vitam of the Trimontium Trust. Later projects. In 2005, Valerie became the Edinburgh Macar and would serve in the capacity for the next 3 years. She also received the Creative Scotland Award to write the book of poems entitled The Spring Teller, which is about Scotland's springs and wells. During this time, she also contributed to Tweed Rivers and the New Minstrels of the Scottish Borders. In 2009, she became a writer and researcher for the Faculty of Arts and Science at Harvard University as an associate, and she also taught extensively on creative writing. Her latest project is entitled The Cream of the Well, New and Selected Poems, which was released in 2015. Aside from her writing work, she has also done reviews and has appeared as a guest in various BBC television programs. But according to numerous sources, her most notable works are poetry. Critically acclaimed poems she's written include The Ringing Rock, The Lightning Tree, Each Bright Eye, and Tweed Journey. She has written work for television programs too, and scripts for radio during her career. Personal life. For her personal life, it's known that Valerie is married to Celtic scholar William Gillies, and they have 2 daughters and a son together. Unlike most artists of modern times, she does not have any online presence on any of the popular social media websites such as Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. She does have a personal website which details her work and some information about herself. According to her online biography, she has traveled around the country as a writer and works with a lot of visual artists for her poetry. She has held writing fellowships across the country and edited the first ever poetry map of Scotland in association with the Scottish Poetry Library, which identifies the locations of living poets through an interactive website. Some of her favorite poems include Surf Speak, The Wedding Reel, and Maeve in Manhattan. She also previously posted events through her website, but it hasn't been updated since 2016. According to her site, most of her work can be seen at the National Museum of Scotland, including excerpts from some of the written work, including poems from the collection The Springteller. According to her, she didn't initially imagine that the project would become something grand.